Welcome to the implementation overview for the Year 7 directed number cross-age peer tutoring. How will help you to set the evaluation? The first thing we ask you to do is identify a group of target learners from your school. You then complete the pre-assessment test with all the learners, and then input the data into the What Work Teachers platform. It will then randomly allocate them into the intervention and comparator group. The intervention group will receive the peer tutoring. This will either be 2 sessions a week for 3 weeks or 1 session a week for 6, and the comparison group will continue as normal. At the end of the duration of the trial, both groups complete the post-assessment test, which is the same as the pre, and when the data is inputted into the What Work Teachers platform, it will generate an impact report to show how the intervention has worked in your school. If this has a promising result, then you can then open this up to the comparison group students so they don't miss out on the intervention. Planning. Let's look at this by a step-by-step approach to implementing the evaluation. So step 1, coordinate with the Year 9 teacher to agree to run the peer tutoring program. Step 2, identify a group of target Year 7 pupils to participate in the evaluation. You could use previous assessment data to identify which students are struggling with this skill. Step 3, complete the pre-assessment maths test with all learners. Record the marks in the Excel tracker located in the resource folder and input this into the pre-test on the trial wizard. Implementation. Step 4. Using the trial wizard on the What Work Teachers platform, randomly assign the learners to the intervention and the comparison group. You then record this in your Excel tracker. Step 5. The intervention group. You will deliver the targeted peer tutor intervention using the Year 9 peer tutors. The comparison group will continue as business as usual for the duration of the trial. And then step 6, you complete the post-assessment maths test, which is the same as the pre to both the intervention and comparison group. Record the marks in the Excel tracker located in the resource folder and input this into the post-test on the trial wizard. So the intervention is a targeted peer tutoring intervention that focuses on Year 7 pupils. The lessons on directed numbers will be delivered by Year 9 peers. Each session will take approximately 20 minutes, which fits in perfectly potentially for form time. You will find a teacher-guided resource which just goes through the session structure. So the peer tutoring, it says here used every week, but this can be used twice a week if you do implement 2 sessions a week. So each session follows the same format, which is a 5-minute review, 5 minutes for modelling, 8 minutes for independent supported practice, and then a 2-minute consolidation. They're included in the resource folder as a session content overview. So you can see this breaks down the topic into the understanding directed numbers, adding, the adding rule-based, subtracting, multiply and divide, and mixed problems. We also address any key misconceptions in the tutoring resources. So in the resource folder, you will find the work booklets. These are to be printed for the tutors and the tutees. We do advise that you give the work booklets at least a week in advance to the tutors so they're familiar with the content. You'll also find a peer tutor training resource, and what we do find is that it's best to work on whiteboards with pens. This is feedback from the peer tutoring programs, so just make sure you have these available before the peer tutoring starts. Selecting and training peer tutors. It is important to work with your Year 9 teacher to select students who will benefit most from the opportunity to be a peer tutor. We advise to provide the lesson resources in advance to your tutors so they're familiar with the content. If a tutor is absent, you can use a ratio of 1 to 2 rather than miss that week. And then you might want to consider using this approach as a targeted intervention as part of your pupil premium strategy. We do include a peer tutor training resource. This is just a PowerPoint that goes through what is the role of a peer tutor. It will also give you an opportunity to talk through the content with the tutors in advance, just to make sure they're familiar with all the concepts that are going to be taught. So key considerations. Logistical issues need to be considered before using a peer tutoring program as an intervention. This is particularly important when it comes to peer tutoring. So time, is there a suitable time for the peer tutoring in the school day? It will take about 20 minutes. Intensity, will the peer tutoring lessons run weekly or twice a week? So this dictates whether it's a 3 or 6 week program. Location, is there a suitable location in the school for the peer tutoring? Supervision, it will require someone to supervise them. Could this be a teacher or a TA? Reminders, it is important on the day of the peer tutoring for their form tutors to remind them or to have some sort of notification that goes out just to basically remind the peer tutors about the session as well as the tutees. Resources, so are the workbooks printed, the whiteboards, rubbers and pens available? And then will you potentially link this to rewards? We do have certificates for both the tutor and the tutee at the end of the programme. So you can use them if you want. So logistical barriers are common in any intervention delivered in schools, so it's just important to consider these prior to starting. You'll find in the resource folder a track and spreadsheet. This allows you to link an anonymised learner ID on the What Work Teachers platform to a student. And then you just record on here whether they are intervention or control with their pre-test score and post-test score. It is optional to record their free school meal status. The assessment, the outcome is the attainment as defined by a pre-post assessment. This is marked out of 20 and is the same for the pre and the post. As both the comparison and intervention group receive the same assessment, familiarity should not bias the effect. And then some final guidance on the assessment. Please complete this under exam conditions. Take approximately 20 minutes, 21 minutes for the assessment. Record the pre and post assessment scores on your track and spreadsheet, and then just make sure you add the anonymised data to the What Worked platform at the relevant stage. So that is the end of your guidance. The next thing to do is to download your research protocol, the resource folder, and then click your trial wizard.